Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the FrostBytez Gaming Experience, Part 9 of the Pokemon Blue walkthrough. So, last part, we talked nothing but football and hockey, because it was basically just a lot more trainer fights in the SSN, SSNE, whatever, and fighting the rival and getting HM cut, which I give to Charmeleon. Generally, I think I stated this earlier, but I don't get what are basically called HM bitches. You know, I don't get a particular Pokemon that's going to learn all the HMs. I kind of just spread out around the team because, again, if I didn't mention it before, the fact is, when it comes to beating the Pokemon games, generally, like, your 6 Pokemon that you have only really need 2 to maybe 3 particular moves in order to beat the game. You don't have to go like super hard competitive mode with your Pokemon, where it's like if you have like, say, if one slot isn't perfect, you're donezo. That's not really the case when it comes to the Pokemon games just in general. So because of that, when I do these, I just give the HMs like to one of each of my Pokemon, because again, I don't need that 4th slot for anything in particular. And again, it's not like I'm taking these to like my local game shop for like a Pokemon tournament. You know, our local game shop doesn't even do Pokemon tournaments. I think even the closest one I have to drive or fly to get to. And it's like, I don't care enough, especially at this age, like, which is kind of sad. That is one thing that I obviously really missed out on growing up, you know, in a small town, is that I never got to do anything like Pokemon championships or Melee tournaments or, you know, anything to that extent. I really missed out on all of that because of the town that we lived in. You know, we didn't have enough people to support such a thing. Like, the closest that would have, it was like a 2-hour drive, and even then, I'm not even sure if there was a scene for it in that particular town. Like, literally, the closest that I know would guarantee do it, being like Denver, is an 8-hour drive, you know, or having to pay for like a 1-hour flight. I don't even think it's like a full hour. It's probably like 40-minute flight or something like that. But then that's paying, like, you know, even back then, roughly about $500 to fly back and forth, you know, just for something like that. And, you know, as you heard in the last part what I talked about, you know, playing hockey, you know, it's like we could only afford to do so much. So unfortunately, that was always something that I did miss out on growing up as a kid, or even like throughout middle school and high school. There wasn't really, you know, outside of just a really close group of friends, there wasn't like a place to go where you could do tournaments and such for anything. Pokemon, Halo was huge at the time. You know, we kept trying to get like mini Halo tournaments going on at like friends' houses, but that was about all we could do. You know, random Call of Duty games. Modern Warfare 2 was like huge, you know, but it was never like really a big tournament thing. It was just, you get a whole bunch of people with a bunch of Xbox 360s and just hook them all up and just go crazy online. Those are some fun times. Even doing that in college, that was really fun. But that was really about it. You know, there wasn't like, you know, like doing the Pokemon card game, which I wasn't too into, but James was when he was a kid. There wasn't anywhere that you could go for like a Pokemon tournament because no one was running them here. You know, in our town, it was magic or bust, you know, but whatever, I digress. So this gym's gimmick is probably one of the most annoying gimmicks, not only in the entire game, but probably in almost any Pokemon game, or at least that I've played. So after you beat the trainers, you don't have to beat the trainers if you don't want to, but I mean, obviously it's best to. You then have to look at these trash cans, and you gotta try and find a switch, and then once you find one switch, the corresponding switch is gonna be one of the couple that's like directly touching to it, horizontally or vertically. I do not believe it's diagonally. So generally, once you find a switch, it's usually a 1 in 4 chance you're going to guess the right one, or if you have a really good one like me, then it's a 1 in 3 chance. Now, luckily, I didn't have to edit any of this because I got lucky and got on my second try. Unlike my test playthrough, which I think took me upwards of 30 plus tries. You can understand why people absolutely despise this gimmick. Because it's literally just a, hey, I find a switch, and I'll have a 1 in 4 chance of finding the next switch, or 1 in 3 chance. If you're really lucky and get on a corner, and it's not diagonal, then you have a 50-50 shot. But even then, if you don't get it, then the whole entire thing resets, and then you have to check every single trash can to find the switch again, and then hope to God that you pick the right switch again. And I'm trying to remember how they did it. I'm about to look back on my gold and see how they did it in that one. I think it was still the switch thing, but it was like an easier way to do it. And I don't even think that they fixed it up in Fire Red, Leaf Green versions. I think it was just literally the same thing. But speedrunners especially absolutely despised this portion of it because it would just kill a lot of speedruns because you would just be stuck there until you finally got it. And I remember me and James tried a trick, and I don't know if we just got super unlucky or if it really is something that works. But what we would do is, you know, we would press on the switch, and if we got it wrong, we would reset the game to go back to where we saved before hitting the first switch, hit it again, try another one, but for whatever reason, every time we tried, it would always end up being wrong, no matter which other switch we tried. And it was like, so it's not a determined thing. Like, once you reset it, it kind of like reset the whole thing, I guess? I don't know. It was weird. Like, I mean, if you want to see what we're talking about, what I'm talking about anyways, go watch the Pokemon Red speedrun that James did for the channel, what, 2 years back? Has it really been that long? I don't know. It's been a while. But if you go back and watch that, you know, you'll see it really can get ridiculous. Anyway, so with that said, you know, we got ourselves the Thunder Badge. Nothing too hard. I got Nidoking, just because being part ground, they can't hit you with any Thunder moves, so it makes it a lot easier. And right now, we are looking to catch 2 Pokemon. Now, why exactly is that? Reason being is because we need to get the HM move Flash in order to light up the Dark Cave that we're coming up on, which, you know, it's called the Dark Cave for a reason. You know, you kind of need to light it up, and the move Flash lights it up for you. Okay, but the only way to get that is if you have, I think it's 10 registered Pokemon in your Pokedex. I only had 8, so we have to go out of our way to catch 2 more Pokemon. And by me getting a Sparrow, which, you know, got very lucky on that one, I now have a Pokemon that can eventually learn Fly later on down the road. But anyways, with that said, on this route, I want to say, oh my god, what route was it again? Give me a minute. I need to look it up. I just had it, and I completely spaced on what the name of it is because they're all just weird numbers. Route 11, is that correct? We are looking at Route 11. Cool. Anyway, so Pokemon here in the yellow version, 40% chance to catch a Pidgey, 10% chance it's a Pidgeotto, 25% chance it's a Rattata, and a 1% chance it's Eradicate, with a 24% chance it's a Drowsy. Red and blue versions, 30% chance it's a Spearow, 25% chance it's a Drowsy. Ekans, red version only, 45% chance, and blue version, Sandshrew, 45% chance. Alright, it shows fishing, but I'm trying to remember exactly where you could fish in this area. That doesn't sound too correct, unless I'm just looking in the entirely wrong area. And it does not look like I am. So, wait, where can you fish then? Unless it's talking about the exact edge of it? Hold on. Wait, there's nowhere to fish. I'm getting trolled. Okay, I'm gonna ignore that because supposedly, unless it's also talking about Vermilion City as well? I don't know. Anyways, so now we got ourselves a Diglett Cave. And the Diglett Cave is just that. It's a cave full of Diglets, and every once in a while, you're gonna run into a Dugtrio. You know, it's a very rare shot. You know, you've only got a 5% chance that it's going to be a Dugtrio, and then the other 95% is a Diglett. The Diglett levels can range from about level 15 to 22, but if you run into that Dugtrio, you're looking at fighting a level 29 or a level 31. And because a Dugtrio and Diglett, but mostly Dugtrio, has a really fast speed, it's basically, it's a trap cave in a sense, because the minute that you run into a Dugtrio, you kind of have to fight it. Because if you try to run away, then you're never going to be able to escape. It's just too fast. You know, so you gotta take care of it one way or another. There's no if, and, or ways about it. Oh, jeez, excuse me. Anyways, so putting that Abra, we got to good use. Not only were we able to use the Abra to do the Mew glitch, but now we have someone that can learn Flash. It doesn't have to be a part of the team. I was originally going to put Flash on one of my Pokemon that I had with me. Well, actually, no, I couldn't have, now that I think about it, because none of them could learn it. But regardless, Flash, you only really need to use for the Dark Cave, if my memory serves me correct. I don't think there's any other time that Flash comes in handy. You don't need it for Victory Road or the Seafoam Islands, as far as I remember. It's only the Dark Cave. So once you're through that and you never have to go back to it, you never need Flash again. So this is actually one of the rare times where it's like, okay, I have a Pokemon that's not a part of my team, learning an HM move, because don't really need to worry about it. And because we now have Cut, we can actually go around and get ourselves a couple items that we couldn't get before. Talk to this guy. He gives you, I believe it's Dream Eater. Dream Eater is a move that only works if the opposing Pokemon is asleep, and you just take away their health and add it to yours. And if I remember correctly, it always takes away exactly 1/4 of your total health. And I think that's right. I could be wrong. I could be thinking of another move, but I do believe Dream Eater did take exactly 1/4 of your opponent's total health pool, not current total, and you would absorb that as damage. And again, I could be thinking of a whole entire different move. If I am, I apologize for that. Anyway, so with that said, one area that I do forget to go to is I forget to go back to Pewter City and get the Amber fossil deal. It's not old Amber. It's not even a fossil. Well, I mean, is it? Yeah, it technically is a fossil. What is the actual definition of a fossil? Because a fossil doesn't have to just be like a bone or like a rock with imprints on it. Like even something that's like really, really old, tree sap or something like that. You know, something that can actually last a really long time. That can be considered a fossil, right? Oh my god. I'm going really stupid here because I feel like just about everyone in the world knows the answer to that, and I'm just sitting here kind of being dumb and being like, what's the actual full-on definition of a fossil? Like, full-on definition. Huh, interesting. But anyways, yeah, I forget to go get the old Amber. It kind of doesn't matter because I don't really, again, kind of like with getting the Omnimite. I can't speak. I'm so sorry. Whatever. You know, they're not going to be part of the team, but even then, you have to wait till like the end of the game in order to revive him anyways. So about that point is where I'm like, oh, I should probably go get this to get the Aerodactyl. Even though he's not going to be a part of the team, I might as well just go out of my way and just get it, period. You know, so I do that more later on. It just kind of sucks because it kind of takes away time from like something else that I could currently be doing, but it's just kind of whatever. But I do believe that we are coming on to the end of the part here, and yeah, it is looking like that because I'm just getting myself pre-prepped, and yes, there goes the fade out. We're going to be jumping into the next part, you know, sometime in the next week, because that is all we've got for this week. And again, these past 5 parts might be, you know, not exactly the greatest in post-commentary. Again, doing these in May, and May is the busiest month out of the entire year for me. So I've been super busy with getting so many things done, and that's why I actually forgot that I had another 2 parts I had to do audio for really quick. But, you know, once May's over with, it should get a lot easier for me here on out. June might get a little bit busy, but again, not nearly as busy as what May is. So again, I'm sorry if the last 5 parts weren't exactly the greatest, you know, but I'm definitely going to look to try and pick it up in the future parts. But we've been going on too long. Enjoy the rest of your evening, folks. Catch you guys on the next part.